Hi geographers, and welcome to the latest episode of the CVA Geography YouTube channel. This lesson today is looking at landforms of deposition on spits. So I'll give you a moment to write down the title and complete the do now. Please pause the video now. Brilliant, so let's go through the answers. Number 1 is longshore drift. Number 2 is they lose energy. Number 3 is constructive waves. Number 4 is slumping. Number 5 is abrasion. Number 6 should be crack cave arch stack stump. Number 7 is 20. And number 8 is sandy, is a flat beach which is formed by constructive waves. And number 9, and it would be a pebble beach, would be steep, formed by destructive waves. So today we're going to understand how deposition creates spits, but before we do that we're going to be looking at how material is transported along the coast. So when material is transported along the coast, it happens in a zigzag, and this is called longshore drift. That's a key term. I would write that down. So just longshore drift is the zigzag movement of sediment along the beach. So we have the swash. The swash always goes up the beach at an angle, and that is due to the prevailing wind. When the wave's gone up the beach, it must come down, and the backwash happens straight at 90 degrees due to gravity. Then the next wave comes in, and the swash happens at at an angle due to the wind, and then the backwash happens straight due to gravity. So what happens is, if we follow the little cursor, the wind makes the swash go at an angle, and then the backwash is straight at 90 degrees due to gravity. The swash happens at an angle, and the backwash happens straight at 90 degrees due to gravity. And over time, this leads to the sediment moving along the coastline. What I'd like you to do is to draw a diagram to show longshore drift, and I'd like you to label on swash, backwash, direction of prevailing wind, sea, land, 90 degrees because of gravity, and direction of sediment movement. You can use this to help you, so please pause the video now to copy down the diagram for me. Right, so you've now got the diagram. What I want you to try to do is to complete this word fill using your diagram above. Okay, so I'd write out the sentences and I'd fill in the gaps. So pause the video here, so please do that. Right, so what you should have got for this is the direction of the wind comes in from an angle, meaning swash also happens at an angle. This transports sediment up the beach until gravity takes the sediment straight back down the beach at 90 degrees under the force of gravity. This process repeats, and the sediment moves across the beach in a zigzag motion. So, spits. What is a spit? Spits are long, narrow stretches of sand and shingle, usually found at a river estuary that is connected to the mainland at one end. So I've jotted down what a spit is, so please feel free to pause and write that. And we've got a named example of a spit. So we need to know about Hurst Spit in Dorset. And what we can see in Hurst Spit in Dorset is this is the spit, and then at the end of the spit there is a recurved tip. So the end of the spit is hooked round. Behind the spit, in this sheltered area here, we have lots of vegetation, and that is known as a salt marsh. Right, so just a quick little quiz for you. Question 1, jot down the numbers and then answer the question. Deposition of sediment sticking out of a coastline is called A. The curved end of a spit is called A. The dominant wind along the coastline is called V. When the wave goes up the beach at an angle, this is called. The transportation of sediment along the coastline in a zigzag motion is called. Right, so did you get? You should have got number 1, a spit, number 2, a recurved tip, number 3, the prevailing wind, number 4, the swash, number 5, longshore drift. So now what we're going to do is look through how these spits form, how the recurved tip ends form as well, and we're going to draw a diagram. What I would like you to do is to draw the diagram and label it as I talk through the formation of it. So the first thing you're going to draw on your page is the coastline and the sea. There we go. You're then going to draw it above the sea the prevailing wind. This is the dominant wind direction. And what this wind direction means, it means the swash will happen at an angle and backwash will happen at 90 degrees due to gravity. This will repeat every time a wave goes up the beach or down the beach, and longshore drift moves the sediment along the coast. So I've labelled on longshore drift moving sediment along the coast. And then where the coastline changes shape, that's by a river estuary. So it's towards the mouth of the river, the tidal area of the river in the lower course, and the coastline has changed shape as the river is flowing out. So step 2 is crucial in this, and it is literally to draw an arrow to where the coastline changes shape. You cannot explain a spit formation without saying this. So the first part was the longshore drift moving sediment along the coastline due to the prevailing wind. Step 2, label on coastline changes shape. And this then leads into step 3, because what happens is where the coastline changes shape, the sea, the water here is protected from the wind. So the sea loses energy and starts to deposit sediment. It drops the sand or the pitch shingle, and this forms our spit out to sea. And now we've got our spit sticking out to sea, which is just an extension of the beach. Over time, the wind sometimes changes direction. So when the wind changes direction, it hooks the end of the spit around, and this creates a recurved tip. And the final part of our spit formation is what forms behind the spit. So behind the spit, the area is very sheltered, it's very protected from the wind in both directions due to the shape of the coastline and the spit. And what happens is we get constructive waves that are losing energy, they're depositing sediment, and behind the spit, vegetation starts to grow on this deposited sediment, forming a salt marsh. So I'll let you pause the video there if you want to get down any more of the notes. That is the spit formation. Feel free to rewind and listen to my explanation again. Right, so move on, and we've got a quiz. Question 1. Longshore drift transports sediment along the coastline due to the... Question 2. When the coastline changes shape, the water is protected, so the waves something energy. Sediment is then a something forms out to sea. A recurved tip forms at the end of the spit because, and then question 6, behind the spit, constructive waves deposit sediment and forms a. So let's check your answers. What you should have got is 1, prevailing wind, 2, lose energy, 3, deposited, 4, a spit forms out to sea, 5, because the wind changes direction, and 6, a salt marsh. So hopefully you've now got a better understanding of 1, what a spit is, and 2, how it forms. If you're still a little bit confused, please, like I say, rewind the video to watch the diagram again and add labels to your diagram to help support this. So we come to our final task, the blue zone. Can you explain the formation of a spit? Like any coastal landform question, we need to follow the success criteria of POS. That means we're going to give processes, we're going to name processes like longshore drift, deposition. We're going to have to make sure we can outline them, so say what the processes are, and the sequence needs to be in order. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. What I'd like you to do is just write out the question for me and bug the question, and then I'll show you a model answer. So, here's a model answer. Firstly, a spit forms due to longshore drift. Process. I then need to outline it. The transportation of sediment along the coast with swash at an angle and backwash at 90 degrees due to gravity. This happens due to the direction of the prevailing wind. The coastline eventually changes shape, often at a river estuary, and here the sea is protected from the wind, so the water loses energy. I've got the sequence. Constructive waves then deposit. Name the process, and say what deposit means. Drop sediment. This repeats and forms a shingle or sand beach sticking out to sea, called a spit. Thirdly, the wind direction will change, and this creates a recurved tip at the end of the spit. Behind the spit, the sea is sheltered, so constructive waves deposit, again process, so I'm outlining it, drop sediment, and this forms a salt marsh. So in the answer you can clearly see I've got the sequence, I've named multiple processes and outlined exactly what they are. So I'll move on to the final slide. It's now time for you to pause the video have a go at answering the exam question. Brilliant, guys. Really well done on all your hard work today. I'm going to pop the model back up for you, so you feel free to pause the video now and mark your model like mine. You feel free to tick if you've mentioned processes, you've outlined them, and you've got the sequence in the correct order. I hope you found this video useful and enjoyable as always. Please remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest videos of CVA Geography to help you with your GCSE. Thank you. Bye.